I was born in Japan, spent my childhood in the US, lived in Czechoslovakia for 20 years, and then returned back from Czechoslovakia in 1968. This has led me to meet many displaced people over those years. Some of them eventually made their way back to their old countries, but they found that their countries had changed. So now they know they will forever be displaced, no matter where they choose to live. And that's why it has been said that you can never go home again.
All right.
No, when we're recording, don't rustle the paper because I can hear it.
I'll try. Okay? Fine. Well, until recently I suffered the real loneliness only when I was separated from people I love. What I didn't realize was how much this applies also when it comes to the animals. One day, it was in early spring, my dog, a coonhound, disappeared. Well, this was not the first time the dog ran away. He was rather a disciplined dog. Sometimes he was gone for hours, but he always came back home. This time he didn't. I walked around my house calling his name in vain. But even after a few days, I didn't give up hope. Maybe he ventured too far, got lost, somebody found him, and is now taking care of him. So I posted flyers in every public place and waited for a telephone call. Meanwhile, the ice on my pond melted, and I went down to check if the fish survived the sudden winter spell. And there, in the pond, I saw this horrific apparition. At the side of a floating platform submerged in the water, his beautiful eyes looking at me, was my dog. Inexplicably, I turned around, went back into the house, sat down, and played solitaire for an hour or two in total denial of what I just saw. Slowly, I convinced myself that I was just hallucinating. To assure myself about that, I got up and returned to the pond. And my heart jumped up with joy. Yes, I was hallucinating. The dog was not there. Content, I returned to my solitaire. But doubts started to creep in. When was I hallucinating? Was it when I saw the dog in the water? Or was it when I didn't see the dog? I had to find out. So I rushed back to the pond. My heart was pounding. I prayed my dog wasn't there. And he wasn't. And in that moment, a strong wind shifted its direction, and the floating platform began to rotate. And slowly, like in a horror movie, my dog came back into my sight. I knew I am not hallucinating now, and I was not hallucinating before. The wind must have turned 180 degrees and the platform moved its position. Now the wind shifted again, and there he was, my dog, trapped in the wires which are attaching the platform to the deck. He must have been chasing some small, light animal across the ice. The ice broke under his weight, and he got trapped in the water by the wires. I was crushed. I stood there motionless, and suddenly I felt so terribly lonely as I never ever experienced in my life before. Okay?
So what happened then? How long were you lonely?
Well, I never really, overcome the loneliness particularly attached to this dog, because that image, him struggling, I just can't overcome it entirely, no. And dog is a wonderful companion which somehow protects you against feeling lonely, even when you have all the reasons feeling lonely.
Could you give me an example of that? A reason? What would be a reason?
Well, the other reasons are, when people disappoint you, people whom you considered friends, people you loved, and discovered that friendship was not what friendship for you means.
Milos, you said something about solitaire.
It takes your mind of everything, and you have to concentrate on something which you don't have to really think, hardly about, and keeps your mind occupied, So, because you feel you can't, and you don't want to really share this unsolvable, dark problems out of your mind by talking about them, So.
So, wouldn't it be better if you talked about it?
Well, I don't know about that. In a strange way, the feeling of loneliness is always caused by some kind of a internal disaster in your mind or heart or soul, And the best way to overcome it, if you are lucky enough to get hit even by bigger disaster. For example, if you break your leg and you have to see a doctor, and suddenly you have to take care of your body and not of your soul or your mind,
There is always a mystery attached to everything good in life, and so it is with loneliness. Because loneliness carries within itself the gift of introspection, which we can benefit from if we have the desire to do so. Therefore, this film was made in praise of loneliness.
To learn more about a room nearby, visit PBS online at pbs.org. Funding for this program was provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.